we have to do a little bit of a switch off here to pull this back. And see if I can do this. And do this, and then pull this up here. I have a dilemma this morning, and that is, I've got something we just worked on for a long stinking number of years, and I got it finished a couple of days ago, and I've never presented it, and I've got it this morning, so I got my regular deal, and I got this new deal. And I'm all excited about doing this, but I'm excited about doing this. What a sucker. I'm sitting over here trying to figure out what to do next. So somebody said, well, it'd be good to hear what you got to say. I said, yeah, me too. I'd be curious myself. We are in a heck of a change. We've been doing the Memphis market for a long time. The way we do things is we get no information for no one else. We don't do that. We physically go and count every new home subdivision in all the states we're in every 4 months. And so our data is it's a really raw data. We've been doing this world here, I don't know, long, many years, way over 20 years, it's got to be way over. And so there's something that's happening right here, of course, that I'm not going to get into too much, but we're adding that little piece. You see what we've done? See that little part? That's it. It's that Haywood County thing. They got that little blue thing going on over there. And so we decided that we're going to do our own market research for the Ford plant. And I decided that I would try to look at it. And so we ran circles around that plant. I'm not here to talk about that today in detail, okay? We're in the process of researching it now. We're looking at 45 counties. There's really 17 that are terribly impacted, and there's a numbers of cities that we're actually going to go talk to and try to get our arms around how many lots are out there, and are they capable of putting them on the ground, and what's the depth of the market. We're running all the demographics, and just insane in depth, and we get no information from no one else. We're not biased to come up with a certain conclusion. But I've enjoyed really taking a good look at this. I'll be honest about it. So we started to do circles around this thing, and I concluded all the way to 100 miles away, each direction, 200-mile diameter, to try to see between 90 and 180 and 100 miles, does anybody have interest in going to interview? And we think to cross that little creek over here called the Mississippi, I think to go west of that is a joke. For somebody to convince me that there's anybody with interest, I think that's smoke and mirrors. But if you start going 80 to 100, most you're going to get is somebody who's going to go maybe check it out. They're not going to drive that. It's stupid. Well, then we went from 60 to 80 miles, and then 40 to 60, and there was a break at 50. And so it intensifies and changes, and how do people see it? I've interest in interviewing, interest in working for a while, checking it out, all kinds of things. We were out, a few of us last night, and I gave that information. I wrote out instructions to me what we had to do. We had to figure out how to look at this from an individual's perspective, but also from a city's perspective. What do they have to see? And then from a developer's perspective. And as I come from a background having built way over 1,000 houses, developed a lot of land, and opened up a division for Sun Oil Company for housing in the United States called Pulte Homestead. And so as we get closer, we found obviously the intensity picks up for shopping and for retail, for commercial, for all kinds of things. And so that's what we're working on. We are in a process. We actually get down into Mississippi here, by the way, with the ring, into Kentucky, just about 3 counties. It's almost a waste of my time to go that far, because the closer counties are the ones that are going to be affected. I think that there's going to be an enormous crisis. I really do. There is a huge shortage. I'm really convinced that the first year they're only gonna sell 50 more homes. Second year is gonna jump to 150, and it's gonna go to 300, and then it's a little bit above that from there, and we're not ready for it. And then the retail, we're just not ready for it. And then the land development, we're not ready for it. So let me get off of that, but that's in a process of what we're doing right now. Let me take you here. I don't normally do this, but I'm gonna show you how one chart is created. We've been doing this for so many years. At one point, I had 181 banks that were clients. And I had some bank president say to me, "Don't give us all that paper, you're driving us nuts. Just give us it electronically," or some, this is way back, see. And so just tell us the risk of building a spec home. So it took us 2 years, Rick and I, and we finally created our own, because all of our stuff is our own software. And we created that software to be able to figure out how you can quickly touch a spot in accounting and a price point and hit enter, and within 5-6 minutes have a 28 to 32 page report jump out, giving you the degree of building a spec home to 100 of a point. We still use that all the time. So years goes by. Well, about 9 months ago, I said to Rick, "Do you realize I've only had about 5 or 6 bankers complain?" And when I explained to them what it did, they were fine. How could we have created something so immensely accurate? We didn't know how we did it. We forgot. And so we had to go back and unravel our own stuff to figure out what did we build in there. And I'll tell you what it is. If you look at forecasting, there is a whole bunch of stuff that constitutes no more than 20-25% of reasonable forecasting. But there's one item that constitutes 75% of the accuracy of forecasting. Let me tell you what no builder is ever going to do in their life. All of us are going to die, and this will never happen in the United States. Not once. There is no builder in any country that builds houses with the intention for them to sit there finished unoccupied. That's pretty obvious, right? So then the question, so you don't build houses to just let them sit finished unoccupied. So then the question becomes, how many finished unoccupied homes can you have? And so I want to show you what we did after we unraveled all of our own stuff to find out why we were so successful. And I decided to show you the interior guts of the church. And I wasn't very good at school, but I really got straight A's in Crayolas. And so here's how this works. You need to have a certain number of finished unoccupied homes on any given day. And that number is from 24% of all homes under construction sitting there finished unoccupied all the way to 28%. In other words, there's a range. You need 24 to 28% of all the homes going, sitting there, finished unoccupied. What happens if you get to 32%? Well, 32% is a recession. So if you're under 24%, you're underbuilding, and if you're over 28%, you're overbuilding. Now, to get to a recession, you have to be there for 8 months, and it's an official recession. We can tell you, generally speaking, some 8, 9, 10, 12 months, almost to the month when a recession is going to set in. It's an amazing little deal. So let me go back now and show you nationwide. Here's that 24% number. And here's the 28% number. Remember I said under 24% you're underbuilt, and over 28% you're overbuilt. And you get to 32%, this line right here, and you're there for 8 months, you're in a recession. So let me go back and give it to you first of all from a yearly perspective. This is all these right here is done by year. And about a year ago, January, we started doing it by month. And so it's right here. So how does this work? If you go back to 2014, we were here. Well, that's the recession level, you see. But here, we were coming down. We were coming down out of the 2009, 10, 11, 12 fiasco. And so we were here, but the good news, we were headed the right direction. And so by 15, we were here, and by 16, we were here. Well, what is that? That's the range of 24 to 28%. Under 24% is underbuilt, over 28 is overbuilding, and we fell back just below the purple line here. And then we came down also by 17, we were here, and in 18, 19 had a bump, and then came along the doggone pandemic. What happened at that point? We had, normally in the home building industry, we get about 1/3 of all homes that are sold, 2/3 of all homes that are sold are generally existing homes. It reversed roles, and we were getting 2/3 of all homes sold, new construction, and 1/3 was going to existing homes. And we didn't have enough inventory in existing homes. People are afraid to list their house because somebody come to see to buy the house, and they're going to cough, and they're going to get their mom and dad sick. They're going to see grandpa and grandma, they're going to die. So we had a substantially low inventory of existing homes. That's why we were getting multiple offers and offers above asking price, and the home building industry started to take off. What happened in the middle of 2020? Started in early 2020. This is what the finished unoccupied count. That's what this is all about. The key in all the forecasting. It fell boom like this. It dropped all the way down to here. Here, if I'm under here, I'm under building. And where it just bottom fell out of that sucker. And of course we were getting price increases for labor and for materials. But in addition to that, the builders raised their price. And we added, over normal, 6 percentage points of profitability. Except for you guys. Memphis has always been really nice. They would never have done that. There's the rest of these dirtbags in the country. And so it fell down to here. I decided that I would go in January of last year to doing this by month. And so it fell again by 1st of 22, right here. Well, that was January, and in February, and in March, and in April, and May. In May of the last year, we bottomed at 12.5% of all homes under construction sitting there finished and occupied. To be under 24% is to be underbuilt. We were substantially underbuilt. That's not normal when a recession is going to come on. So when the government puts up too much money, the source for all of this inflation, they put up all this money, and then they normally get the home builders, and they go after them, and home builders who are building normal production levels in previous recessions, all of a sudden they fall into the Builders Association, the home builders industry was way under building, and they couldn't slow the suckers down. And it confused these people at the Federal Reserve, which I think are confused to start with. And so what it did is we turned around by May, and so June it went up. Why did it start going up, the finished unoccupied count? Because we raised the interest rate in June and July and August, September. You know what it was going up? It was going up at about 1/4 to 1/2 percentage point every month, and then it went to 1, then it went to 2, and so it started to grow. And I told everybody, listen, as you start getting the interest rates higher, this is going to accelerate the finished unoccupied count. And we were here, and right now in March, this is the United States, we were at the 21% number. We are still 3 percentage points over, even getting into the range I want to be. I have to get to 24 just to get me happy. He said, well, we're backing up. I understand that. And it will continue to go up. But we are underbuilding right now in the nation. You say, well, that's not true. No, it is true now. Let me tell you what I don't do. I don't get no information from nobody else. I keep saying that, right? Because we go out and count it all. We're counting thousands upon thousands and thousands of subdivisions. All the time. I get people on the road all the time. I have the record of every subdivision in Memphis, including Crittenden County, Arkansas, and DeSoto County. I've been to Tipton, which is right across next to the Fort Lauderdale, and Fayette County, just across the street, actually, on their side of the interstate. So let me go on. So it would start to accelerate, and what we found is that there was a jump between February and March. And I told January, February, I said, don't worry about it, it's gonna slow down, and it slowed down. You can just about take the position that we're gonna increase the finished and occupied count at about 1% a month. If that's the case, then to get to overbuilding right here, if I'm at 21, and I get to 28% of everything going, sitting there finished and occupied, I've got 7 months before I can possibly get there. And to get to a recession over here, I'm 11 months away in order to pull that off. There is no chance that we're going to be able to get there very easily because the banks are tightening the screws. Very nicely, of course, but it's tightening the screws. And as it goes up a little bit, you're going to find it very difficult. The interest rate at which the public starts to get nervous is when you cross 5 3/4% for 30-year mortgage. The range between 5 3/4 and 6.1% 30-year mortgage rate, that's the range that's still acceptable, and it starts to fall off. You start getting to 6.5, 6 3/4, and you tell me it's going to be good, you don't know what you're talking about. I had a banker tell me the other day, Mr. Charles, at 7%, 7 1/4, we're going to be fine. I said, you believe that crap? I'm going to sell you the bridge downtown. There is no chance come hell or high water that's true. The public is slowing back at 5 3/4 to 6.1. In the last big deal in 2009, 10, 11, do you realize that we shot up because the financial world pulls the rates up and it fell back to 6.1? Watch. It did it again at 6.1. Third time, 6.1. Fourth time, 6.1. It's happening right now again. If you really study this thing, I think that we're going to have a little bump up. I have a caution for you. Between November of this year to about August of next year, I want you to be careful. I just had a bank say to me, I got a builder who wants to build 2 homes on spec at $3.3 million each. He's in 0.6% of the market. I thought to myself, I've not met somebody so stupid before. This is amazing. How dumb can you get? You need to be careful a little bit right now. I think that we're doing well. I think the latter part of this year into about summer, August of next year is going to be a little bit of hesitation. So let me get off of this. I want to show you what Memphis looks like. In 14 in Memphis, we were at 31. We were also coming down. Here's the 32% number. Here's the 24, the 28. And we came down, and by 15, we were here at 16, and 17, it dropped. I want to be here, and we dropped 17. 18 was here, 19, and then in 2020, by summer 2020, there was a lot of hesitation here. The Memphis market is a conservative world. We're conservative people here. And it fell like this, and by November of 2020, now I'm going every 4 months, and then it fell again, began by 21, and then here's by summer 21, and then the fall of 21 November, and then look at this, by March of 22 here, and then by summer 22, and then by November of 22, and we're up here right now. We just got through counting it all. I almost didn't want to show you because you're going to draw a false conclusion. It is a temporary thing here. This right over here, we have enough other data to tell you that this is temporary. It is really, here's the range I want to be in. We are just in here somewhere. Just in a reasonable range yet. I don't think that I'm going to see in the next audit we do, which is summer, we're not going to see it going up. I think we're going to see it to taper off a little bit. There's enough volume of sales and activity that's going on right now that's going to just pull that back off a little bit on the back side. So let me just see if I can't do something else. I want to do this. Let me go back. I'm going to over here. Let me show you a national perspective. Here's the housing market right now from Han County, all these subdivisions, thousands and thousands, right now. If we take a look at the 325, 425 range, this is down to a price point. The orange on here is finished and occupied homes, and the blue is how many you could have. It's nationwide. In other words, we have right now, I say nationwide, we're not doing California, okay? Nobody should do California. I've got a whole bunch of politicians I'm trying to donate California to China. Anyway, so in the 325, 425 range, we have the orange, to make it easy for you to grasp, is how many finished and occupied homes we have. We got 4,338, we could have 4,700. The 465, 625, that now is the biggest price point in the United States. We have right now 4,700 houses up there. I could have 5,700. I could have 1,000 more. If you take a look at the 625, 925 range, I'm only here. I got 2,455, I could have 3,900. As from a nation, it matches the other chart I just showed you, that we were coming up. Let me just take a look at this right here. And this is all of Memphis. There's the whole 5 counties together as a group. And so if you get into the 275, 325 range, I only have 48 houses. This is all hand counted now, okay? This is not a wild guess. And we just finished it. We have 48 finished and occupied homes in the 5 counties in the 275, 325 range. I'm good for 41. I probably got only 8 or 9 houses. It is not what you're talking about, because you can't hardly deliver any more in that low end. But if you get into the 325, 425 range, I have 141 finished and occupied homes. I don't want more than 93. In the 425, 625, I have 97. Don't want more than 87. The interesting thing in that price range of 425, 625, 4 months ago I had 101. It's actually gone down. It's getting better. In the 625, 925 range, I have 88. And I'm good for 92. We're actually underbuilt. So how does that look? This is all of the whole Memphis market again. And you can see that in the 325, 425 range, I've got this many finished unoccupied homes. I don't want more than blue. I got 141, don't want more than 93. If there was a price point that you got to start to be careful of, and it's not everywhere, but if you get into the 425, 625 range, I'm so close, it don't make, and even in 625, 925, I'm fine. Every other price point, except this one right here, of that 325. Now, if you break it up by parts of counties, here's all of Shelby County, and you can see that the 625, 925 range is pretty stout here. But here's where we got a problem. The 325, 425, I got 48 finished and occupied homes, don't want more than 27. What does that look? It looks like this when I take all of Shelby, and that puts me in at 325, 425 again, which is that little caution range. This is the Millington world. And that's the price point I got to be careful of in that world. This right over here is Lakeland and Arlington. It is so close. Maybe that's 425, a little bit. I got a few extra, but it's only 5 or 6 houses now. It's not hardly, some of that hardly we're talking about. So I wanted for every one of you who's building a certain spot, I'm going to touch your spot. And I wasn't going to do this, but I am going to. This right over here in the Bartlett market, I wish I had more lots in Bartlett. Yeah, now you do talk about a need for lots and a need for housing. I love Bartlett. And I just think that the opportunity there is it's insane. I don't know how you do it. We were over here just 4 months ago, and we backed off to here. It's actually gotten better if you want. Depends how you look at it. Here, this right over here is the downtown area. It's a very small pass over here. Here's Shelby Farms, Cordova, back in that world. Not only is there no overbuild, take a look at the 425, 625 range. I have this many finished and occupied homes. I need this many. I could double that count. Then we have right over here, the Fishersville, this world. There is no overbuilding at all. Now you can say, well, we've got a couple houses that are sitting here. I don't care. Because you can build a house that's a piece of junk. Or you can be a house in the wrong place, in the wrong, you know whatever. There's a whole bunch of reasons that they can, for sales, for marketing. There's a lot of reasons. It just so happens there's not too big a market, but it's not at all overbuilt. And this right here is actually, we were here just 4 months ago. It's only down here now. It's come off. Got a couple extra here, but it means nothing. And then here is the Germantown, this world here. We're just fine. In fact, the higher end is, I wish you could build back here, but you can't. And then we have Collierville. We have probably in the 325, 425 range, 7 homes extra right now that I wish I didn't have. And the 625, 925, I've got about 4 or 5 extra. No big sweat. And if you look at Fayette, I'm not going to go through Fayette with the same detail. But just tell you this here. You're just fine in Fayette County. The only price range that I got a little bit of caution of is that 325, 425, I got 3 extra. Who gives a crap, right? And look, then I got the Oakland market right here. A little bit in that same price point. No, not big deal. And this is the rest of Fayette. It's just of no consequence. I shouldn't even be hardly talking about it. Now, if I get to DeSoto County, it shocks me with DeSoto. I like this place. And it's got huge upside. And almost every price point's got a problem. Look at in the 225, 275 range. I've got about 3, 4 extra. 275, 325 range, I've got 8 extra. 325, 425. There I've got quite a few. I got 50 through 53 on the ground. Now it came down from 4 months ago. See the red lines up here? That's where it was 4 months ago. So it's getting a little bit better, but it's still overbuilt. 15 homes, I gotta be careful. And the 425, 625 is over. You have to get to 625 to 925 where we're short about 4 or 5 houses. Let's take us here. I could go part by part of DeSoto County, but let me just. You can see that the orange is bigger than the blue, and that's the issue. I got plenty. I don't know what the builders did, but they got all excited, I guess. Let me take you here. This is Tipton. Tipton's overbuilt in the 325, 425 range by 8 houses. You know, it doesn't seem like many. I know, but that it keeps going, you see. And if it's trending up, here's where it was 4 months ago, right here, and we've added this many in the last 4 months. So there's a trend going that direction. Let's take us out of here, past all the distant parts of Tipton. And I'm not going to get off into Crittenden County. What I want to do now is I want to do something here, and I want to show you this right here if I can. This is going to be what I was get a report. I've only got 2-3 charts here and I'm done. The current, let me just put this back on here, I'm sorry. Here's the full 5-county market. Here's Shelby County, and here's DeSoto County. Let me just not use 23 because we are already used up some of the lots. Here's 2024 in the forecast. We're looking at 3,080 homes built in the whole marketplace, including DeSoto. And then I'm going from there, 3316. When you made the comment about between now and the end of the 3030, I'm in total agreement with that. I honestly believe that's like that. And between now and the end, this is 28, but I'll show you the chart in 3030 in a second here, which takes us here. Here's how the Memphis market has actually gone. It's been like this, and we're here, and here we think all the way to 2030. We think that this is going to happen. I said, I think that. So we ended up 22 having come off like this right here. And so I've got this up here. And then what is this orange? That's what I call a downside risk evaluation. I don't ever take in consideration the presidential elections. I just don't do that. I've been doing this for 35 years. And in nearly half the country, by hand count, for all this time. I don't take in consideration a presidential election, except this time. It's almost shocking to me. Maybe look, I come from a real patriotic background. When I did the Pledge of Allegiance thing a while ago, I can't do that. I was 8 years in the Marine Corps. I get halfway through that and I can't breathe. Like telling I can't start talking. I have a bunch of friends that are dead. And so I have avoided the presidential thing because I didn't think it made a difference. Well, when I saw what Biden did, and doggone near turning the country into socialism, it was absolutely shocking to me what he did. And so I had to ask the question for forecasting. Is the people of the United States capable of hiring somebody, Democrat or Republican? I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to play politics. Is the Democrats or Republicans capable of hiring somebody as a president that's got his head screwed on right? I've had all I need but the dummy thing. I don't need that. And here's my conclusion. I don't know. I honestly don't know if they're capable of doing that. So I thought to myself, I don't have a choice. I have to figure out how this is going to go and presume that they're going to hire somebody that's not a screwball. And so this is based on a hiring somebody who's not a screwball. That's what I've had to do. Isn't that amazing that I've had to do that? And so here's what I think that I've noticed that they did all kinds before the election of putting all kinds of money that Biden can still spend. And I'm not trying to pick on him. And so I think that he's got the ability to spend money. And I think it's going to hurt the country. And so the orange says he could hurt us some more. So there's a downside risk of him playing that part. But I think that we probably could get here. My hope is we don't get any deeper than this. But I don't think we're going to get down here. I just don't see that. I want you to do something, and I don't always do this, but I'm going to do it now. I want you to be careful as a builder and developer. Let me talk to you for a second. You need to find the top 45% of the Memphis world, and that's where you need to focus on. If you're going to build spec homes, you should only build spec homes in the top 45% of the market. So you, in the top 45% of the market, you do that. If you're in the 45 to 70% of the market, you should only build pre-sales. You say, well, we don't do that here. I understand. Memphis has always been a speculative market. Got a little bit better in 2009 after the banks tightened the screws. But 45 to 70% of the market, you should do construction firms. That's what you should do until you get into 25. You say, well, we just don't do that. I know, but you should. And then in the lower 30% of the market, you need to stay away from that piece of junk. You need to stay away from there. You say, well, are you talking about the areas also, Edsel, where you're going out towards Upper Tipton County or in Haywood. Are you talking about that? I would normally be talking about that. And even in Fayette County going out east, but I'm not doing that over there anymore. What's coming is insane. And you're not ready for it, I'll promise you that. And the mayors, and everybody's over there wondering what to do. And they're not ready for it. And some of them talk like they are, but they're not. They just don't have the experience and the background to be able to pull off numerous different ways of helping solve some of those problems in that area. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, for you need to stay in the top 45% of the market. If you want to know where that is, and some of you think you know, and you probably do, maybe. All you have to do is get a hold of the Builder Association, and they will get a hold of me, and I will get it to you. I will personally send it to you. And if you send me a note yourself and you're not a client, I ain't sending it to you. But I'm trying to help the Builder Association here, okay? And you stay away, cut yourself some slack between now and the middle of 25. You're going to have between the fall of this year to August of next year, because they need election, it's going to be a change. Once we get past and hire somebody that's not, whatever. I'm trying not to use screwball, okay? So I did use it. And so, but by the middle of 25, you're going to see already that market turning up, and by the fall of 25, you're going to see that market turning in your favor. You need, meanwhile, to be careful. I'm going to open this up for a couple of questions, and why don't you come on, and the two of us, let's do this together.